Nebraska's 2025 schedule was just released. So in today's video, I'm going to give you my official analysis and reaction. Who do we play next year? When are these games? What are some storylines? And everything else you need to know. So really quick, if you're excited about next season, I know I am, hit that like button. And hey, if you're new to the channel or still a returning viewer, make sure to subscribe. I post daily Nebraska football content talking about the coaching carousel, recruiting, videos like this. So if you're a diehard Husker fan, we're on the road to 9,000 subscribers. Please hit that subscribe button. It would help me out greatly, and you'll be thanking yourself that you did. But without further ado, let's get into it, going over Nebraska's 2025 schedule. Now, it was just announced when these games are going to be. We've already known who Nebraska is going to play, but up until now, we haven't really known when these games are going to be, what are the bye weeks looking like, and so much more. So let's jump into it, talking about my first takes. This looks like a pretty good schedule for the Huskers, to say the least. So starting it off with our 3 non-conference games. Again, pretty easy right here. Again, this is the easiest non-conference schedule Nebraska's had in a long time. You start off with Cincinnati at Lucas Oil Stadium. That's going to be a neutral site game. More likely than not, that's going to be moved to the Chiefs Stadium. I like that. That's a win. That's a win for the Huskers. That's not a good Cincinnati team. Then you go ahead, you play Akron. Not much needs to be said there. Akron's middle of the road MAC team. Really not going to be an upset watch type of game. And then you play FCS Houston Christian. Very easy. Very, very easy. This is the easiest non-conference schedule Nebraska's had in some time. Let's hope that the Huskers can go 3-0. I think they will, but I really, really like where the Huskers stand with these 3 games. Now, we've already known this. We've known these dates. We've known these teams. Let's get into what was announced when we will be playing these Big Ten games. First team, we play the Michigan Wolverines at the crib, at home on September 20th. This is going to be a fun game, very fun game. And I know Michigan struggled this year, but they're going to be a lot better next year. And they have a 5-star quarterback. They have a good recruiting class. I'd imagine they're going to get some really good transfers in the portal. It's going to be a good team. It'll be a fun game, but, really, this is one of the hardest teams Nebraska plays this year. This is a pretty easy schedule, as you're about to see, but, I feel good about this game. I like that we play them early in the year. I like that we play them at home. I think it would have, it's been in our best interest to play them as early as possible. As the year progresses, Michigan usually gets better for the Huskers. Then we have a bye week going into week 5. I don't love that. I don't love the bye week, and we have 2 bye weeks once again next year, just with the way the calendar works. So I don't love having a bye week this early, just because I don't really see its purpose. Obviously, you're not going to be too banged up. I really liked our bye week location this year, but it is what it is. You have a bye week. That's your first one. Then we have another home game versus Michigan State. Now, this is going to be a must-win for Nebraska. Michigan State's not a good team, and they're not going to be much better next year. They've had a lot of problems. They, I believe, missed out on a bowl game this year. Again, you need to beat Michigan State. Non-negotiable at home as well. There is a real possibility Nebraska starts off 5-0, but yeah, that Michigan game is going to be tough. Maryland up next on the road. Again, these are just layup after layup. Maryland's another team that really struggled this year to not make a bowl game. You're playing at Maryland. I don't really care if you play at Maryland at home or on the road. You need to take care of business against a team that's really, really struggling, not getting much better. Feel like we're in a good place when we play the Terrapins. So, guys, this is an easy schedule. Can it continue that way? It absolutely can. You play Minnesota, who, although Minnesota's had our card recently, they've found ways to beat us. And once again, they made a bowl game this year. I believe they won 7 games. So I'm not saying there's some run-of-the-mill garbage Big Ten team. They've beat us pretty consistently. PJ Fleck's beat us pretty consistently. And this game's on the road. But I don't think Minnesota's on an upward trajectory. They're not getting better. PJ Fleck is not increasing, his revenue or increasing the team's success every single year, right? That's just not what's happening. They peaked pretty much in 2019. Well, 11, 10 games that year. And they just kind of been middle of the road ever since. So I think we can beat Minnesota. Again, pretty easy game here. Let's keep it rolling. Come on. What's going on here? This is looking pretty darn easy, am I right? Northwestern, team that struggled, did not make a bowl game. Obviously had a pretty good 2023 season, but you're going to beat Northwestern at home. I feel pretty good about that one. Then you play the Trojans once again. This time you're playing them at home rather than on the road. Now, USC is going to be better next year. I fully expect them to be better. Again, they were pretty much uncharacteristic this year. probably going to be a 9-win squad next year, but you feel good that it's going to be at home. I think we can get revenge from what happened last year, obviously losing barely on the road. So honestly, pretty easy schedule so far. Now you go ahead and play UCLA at the Rose Bowl, Pasadena, California. I imagine a lot of Husker fans are going to be making that trip. That's beautiful venue, beautiful location. Feel good about that game. I don't think UCLA is going to be too much better than they were this year. I know they beat us this year, but I don't think they're going to be too much better. I feel decent about that. All these games are winnable. Like, there's not one game that we just talked about that I think is a lose. Like, we don't have an Oregon on the schedule. We don't have an Ohio State on the schedule. These are all winnable football games. Obviously, now we have a bye week with 2 games left. That's an okay bye location is what it is. You got to prepare for these next 2 games because these are tough ones. Now this is the one where it's like, okay, this might be the lose game, right? You play Penn State. Penn State's getting better every year. Penn State's never in the mix for the national championship. They're never. I don't believe they're going to even really make a run to playoff this year. But they're always good. They always kind of beat up on teams like us who are just kind of middle of the road, a little above average. Penn State's really good at doing that. And when you play them on the road, that's a tough game. However, I like that we have a bye week going into it. That's the part I like about this. That we have a bye week to get prepared. And then we go ahead and play them, in their stadium. That's going to be a raucous environment. But that's one of those games where you look like and say, okay, that's a loss. And I don't love that at that point in the year. That is an interesting game versus Penn State. Last but not least, who's going to be last? The Iowa Hawkeyes at home. You feel all right about that matchup. Again, it's just about, can you win these close games? We know it's going to be a close game. It's on Black Friday. It's the same script every year. Can you reverse the script? Can you change the narrative? I don't know. We will see. We have all season to talk about it. But, honestly, it's a pretty darn easy schedule for Nebraska. Now, take this with a grain of salt because we don't know what a lot of these teams are going to look like going into next year. And at the exact same time, I don't want to, I'll just pull up 2026's schedule just for you guys to take an early look at it. I don't want to scare you guys, but enjoy next year's schedule because 2026, it's going to look tough. Obviously, these games are the days aren't final, but you play Tennessee, Iowa, Ohio State, Washington, Oregon, Rutgers, Indiana as well. So enjoy next year's easy schedule because it's not looking great for 2026. But again, pretty easy schedule for the Huskers. That's my instant reaction. It should be noted, 3 of the teams that we play are coming out of bye weeks. So that's an interesting fact. I can't tell you which ones, but there's a couple of these teams that we play will be rested up, ready to go versus us. So that's not a great storyline for the Huskers, but feel good about this schedule. Pretty darn easy. Let me know your thoughts down below. What are you thinking about Nebraska's schedule in 2025? Any hard teams that you think we're going to lose to, games that you're excited to go to? Let me know in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far in the video, make sure to like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go Big Red, go Rhule. See you in the next one.